Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, I am playing the Tier 9 Italian cruiser Brindisi. Now I have to say, I really like this ship, and I like this line. I think they're fun to play. The SAP shells are just murderous on DDs, but they can do damage to pretty much everything. And I find them, in general, very accurate. The dispersion's not too bad, and at least as far as I'm concerned, in the current meta, one of the toughest things about playing cruisers right now is that when you get spotted, you're very often made the focus of pretty much anything on the enemy team that can hit you. So you take a lot of fire really fast, and with CVs in the game, as there is in this one, you can find yourself continually spotted for some time. Now the Italian line, they have the advantage of having this moving smoke, so you can be cruising along at a really good clip, suddenly find yourself targeted. If you're concerned that you might be taking fire from 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 ships, well, you just smoke up. Then you can make your turn if you want to. Anybody that hits you, it's all blind fire. The one thing you have to be careful about is you have to be sure that you don't fire close enough to a red ship to make yourself visible to everybody. You have a bloom on your guns. Normally, if you're not in smoke, it's whatever the max range of your gun is. When you're in smoke, it's going to be, well, it'll be a little bit different for everybody. Right now, what I need to do is I need to go in and adjust some settings, because since 10.5 rolled out, these will not stay set in replays. They stay set in the game, but not in replays. And I really like having all the additional information, and I'd like for you to be able to have it. Not least of which is that if you're not using Mod Station, I really encourage you to do that. The amount of information that you can have available to utilize in game is greatly increased with some of the mods, and these are all sanctioned by Wargaming through the Mod Station. And if you have no idea what that is and you're curious about that, I've made a couple primer videos. It's been a little while ago, but they'll tell you what Mod Station is, how to use it, where to find it, etc. You can just search for Mod Station on our channel here, and you'll be able to find it. Matchmaking here is pretty decent. This is a mixed tier match. It's got 10, 9, and 8. So mid-tier this game. There are some significant threats on the enemy team. The CV is always a threat. Primarily, as I mentioned a minute ago, because it can keep you spotted. But the Immelman also has those skip bombers. Yeah. So you got to be careful. You don't want to show broadside to that thing any more than you would want to show broadside to a battleship. DD threats, well, you've got Hayate, Holland, Fletcher, and GJ Marker. Is that how you pronounce that? The German DD, well, it's got nasty AP. You don't want to show it broadside. Fletcher is it's a torpedo threat for sure, although the range is limited. Holland, always a threat. Hayate, if the player knows what they're doing, that can be a deadly ship just because of the torpedoes, a combination of that, and pretty solid guns against other DDs at close range, at least in terms of like a single volley. Make it a threat, but not so much when you're sitting back here. I smoked up here hoping I was going to get a chance to put some shots on things, but unfortunately both my DDs are now behind islands. So the guys that I was counting on to do the spotting for me, the only thing they're spotting is this Hayate that's about to get sunk. Now I'm expecting to see some torpedoes here, so I'm going to angle accordingly. And Fletcher goes down to the Yamato, Hayate goes down to Friesland, and the good guys are off to a pretty solid early advantage. The red team down 2 destroyers. Now I have to cross here, but I caught the Holland. And one thing about this ship that is not all that fantastic is, as you saw there, the turret rotation. But I landed 3 shells and just smashed the Holland for some significant damage. And I gotta make sure I don't beat myself here. That was just a bad shot. Be honest, a little nervous about all of the big shells that I know are out there, and Venezia is no joke either. That is an absolute beast. Ibuki detonates our Orkan, and we are down a destroyer. Gotta watch the Massachusetts over there. Hopefully he won't get a shot over the island. Big shells coming in, but it looks like they're not coming for me, but for Zhao. And Vermont blaps the Zhao. So both teams now down 2 ships. The advantage we have in points is due to the fact that we've secured 2 caps, and the red team has yet to secure a cap. Almost 6,900 on the Venezia. I'm going to turn out here and try to minimize his return fire. Ibuki's also trying to land shells on me. And I do not want any part of that. So I'm going to go dark here. Try and reposition. Now I don't have to do anything crazy here. Our team's up on points. Might have been a good idea to hold my fire there, but our Yamato now takes out a 2nd ship, finishing up in Edinburgh. And the enemy Massachusetts whacks our Baltimore. So I've got a Friesland down here who's spotting, but he's got a DD pushing at him, he's got a Holland pushing at him, and our Friesland is just about out of hit points. And that Holland still has, well, the Holland has 10,000 more HP than our Friesland. So our Friesland's in big trouble right there. I'm going to need to kite. I already know that. I'm going to position to try to get guns on the Holland, but that's going to be dependent upon our Friesland living long enough to afford me the chance to see it. And I really doubt that's going to happen. So I'm going to keep my distance. And maybe I get a shot on the Holland, maybe not. There's the Holland. And I just have to hope that I've aimed well. Yeah, I'll take that. Almost 5,900 damage. I'm not going to get another shot before he gets out of behind the island, and our Friesland does go down to the Venezia. It's time for me to run and hide. I do have smoke available if I need it, but I don't want to use it unless I absolutely need it, because I might absolutely need it a little bit later. I'm over here all by myself, and I've got a good number of ships over here, so if I get detected, I'll probably have a lot of shells rolling my way. You can see the Vermont and the Massachusetts. Get some torpedoes out there, maybe slow down someone's advance. But either way, I do not want to get spotted. We're now down 4 ships. We've lost to Zhao, Baltimore, Friesland, and the Orkan. Bad guys are down in Edinburgh, Hayate, and Fletcher, though their Ibuki and Holland are both in bad shape. Meanwhile, on our team, our Z-52 is in really rough shape, and our Veneto is not far behind it. Still anybody's game, though we currently have all 3 of the cap circles. Now look at this. That's going to change here at Charlie. I don't see any way we're going to be able to hold this, but that still leaves us with 2, though the enemy Ibuki is pushing for Bravo. You can see there on the minimap. Now if I get a shot here, great. But what I do not want to do is move too far that way and get myself in a position where I've got Massachusetts, or Vermont, Buffalo, and Venezia all able to target me. So I'll just take my time, roll west, keep an eye out, and keep one finger hovering over the T key to utilize smoke in a pinch. Bad guys do secure Charlie as expected. Our Z-52, he's on the run. I think he's in trouble here. You can see where the Vermont is at. You can see where the Massachusetts is at. I was debating about whether to fire on Ibuki, but our Veneto, well, he took care of that for me. Now I'm looking at where everybody's got, and I'll have at least a little bit of time. So I went ahead and fired. None of them has what I would call fast turret traverse. I just aimed a little too high there on Venezia. But you can see Massachusetts has already got shells on the way, so I'm going to start angling up. Pretty pathetic damage, but I'm just getting started. This game's far from over. Both teams are now down 4 ships with the loss of the Ibuki, and we still have a significant points advantage due to early capping. Trying to get shells on Eddie, but I think he's going to turn under him. Yeah, still landed almost 7,500 worth of damage there. What was the Seattle thinking here? I mean, that's just, come on. Really wanted to finish the Eddie there, but oh well. Yeah, you can see me asking the Seattle, what were you thinking? Push to point blank range, and then turn full broadside to an Eddie. Well, as it stands now, we are down 6 ships. The bad guys are only down 4. And they are working on securing the Bravo cap. I am spotted by a battleship that is pushing kind of straight my way. Now they may be a little focused on the Shima, but you can see the shells on the way already. Debating about whether to fire on Venezia, but opt to put the shells on the Massachusetts. I've got to be careful of Vermont, who's right behind the Massachusetts, just slightly north of his position. And that Eddie that I wasn't able to finish and that our Seattle basically just gave a free kill to is also firing at me from smoke. So I'm going to try and head this way and get the islands between me and him. Still got 3 heals I can make use of, but in the meantime I'm just going to try and make use of the range and rudder shift. Our Shima takes out the Venezia, or the enemy Immelman takes out our Shima. We are now down to 5 ships. The bad guys still have 7. More incoming shells from the Massachusetts. Let's swing the tail around and avoid those. And our Z-52, who I was convinced was in big trouble earlier, has positioned himself to get torpedoes on the Massachusetts. But he's got a Buffalo pretty close. If he gets radared here, he's probably going to sink. But he does take out the Massachusetts. That's huge. We're still at 5 ships, but I expect Z-52 to go down here pretty fast. It's going to leave us with 4, bad guys with 6. Of course, you never know. I thought the Z-52 might get sunk when he was still at Alpha. Now I'm 23 seconds from having smoke again, but I really feel like right now the bad guys kind of have the advantage, and I want to try and help turn that. So I don't want to get too far from Bravo, because the Bravo cap is where I think the game is really going to be. That'll be the crux of it. That'll be the fulcrum, I guess, the pivot point for the game. Our Yamato and Otago are pushing, trying to scare off the Immelman, and apparently succeeding, because he looks like he's running the other way. I do not want to eat a torpedo. I'll just kind of run between them here. Also don't want to get detected by Vermont. The enemy team still has 2 destroyers. I can get spotted at any time, and I am detected by air. And I expect shells from the Vermont. You can see he's definitely aimed my way. He loses line of sight, so I'm just going to turn. I'm not going to fire. Had those aircraft stuck around, I probably would have fired, and his shot is behind me, so I'm okay there. Still no need to use the smoke because I might need it really, really badly later. Go ahead and heal up while I'm not detected. I can tell Immelman's coming back this way, but maybe I can pick up a few thousand HP while I'm having to cross here. At this point, I'm thinking I'm going to try and cross into Bravo, and our Yamato gets smashed by the Immelman. At the same time, more or less, our Midway takes out another of the red DDs. Still anybody's game, but we have we fought our way back. We still have a points lead, though we are now down one ship, and I've got the attention of the CB, the Buffalo, and the Vermont. Now, the Buffalo, if he hasn't used his radar in a while, he's got that ready. The Vermont, I'm really hoping the Vermont is focused on the Z52, but I'm going to use the smoke here, move into the cap, try and shoot down some planes, and get some damage on that Buffalo. That might really help out. If our Z52, squeeze between these, yep. If our Z52 is able to finish the Vermont, which he might, the Buffalo will probably stay aimed in that direction, more or less, to avoid any possible torpedoes. CB's still trying to strike me. And I'm just going to gun it across the cap here, doing what damage I can to Buffalo. And my guess is, you saw where the Immelman was on the minimap. I'm guessing he's still pushing that way. And that's why he's paying so much attention to me, instead of getting out there and finding that CV. And there he is. Now what that does is that provides me a real opportunity here. I'm going to be able to get all my torpedoes away, if I survive. I can use the starboard side torpedoes, and then, oh, his skip bombers went right over me. Starboard side torpedoes, and then turn hard to port and get the port side torpedoes off. And maybe get a gun volley as well. It'll just be the front guns, but that's fine. Buffalo's guns are focused elsewhere. Now I'm going to bring it around here and try to hit the Buffalo. See if I can thread this needle. These torpedoes away. I do eat one torp. All right, that's the starboard side torpedoes out. Picked up the Confederate, 3 torpedo hits. Yeah, I'm gonna eat another torpedo here. I don't see any way to avoid it. Still got the HP to spare, kind of. I'm gonna have to slow down here. I'm gonna eat another one. Get the torpedoes away. Yeah, I'm gonna eat another one anyway. And I can use the guns to help finish off Immelman. That's it for Immelman. Now I need to focus forward, pick up a high caliber. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.